I'm doing this a little bit backwards, but my issue is I thought about it when I was just about done that other people might enjoy, or not enjoy, but knowing how to fix a problem with TJ and probably some other Jeeps that have an issue with not starting. And what I did first was you turn the key, and I'll show you what happens when you turn the key. You get absolutely nothing. You don't even hear a click of the starter. Normally you'll hear a click of a starter if it's a starter issue, but when I go into the Jeep and I turn the key, watch, nothing. I can hear the fuel pump firing up, and I get all my accessory lights, so that means I have power for everything, but for some reason the starter is not going. So first thing everybody thinks of is, oh, we got a battery, that's dead. Or we got a starter that's dead, and people will spend hundreds of dollars doing that. Go to your local garage. Very first thing, they have load testers for batteries. And what I did was I wanted my battery load tested first. I went to the garage and I said, can you load test it for me? They said, well, turn it off. And I said, well, I can't because it won't start again. And so what I did was I had it running, took the positive and negative off, just held them off of the battery, and he load tested it for me, and it load tested good, so that said to me, okay, no problem with my battery. The next thing was I wanted to find out if there was a problem with my starter. So I took a look here. Here's all the fuses and everything looked good for fuses and all that. And so I thought the next thing I have to do is go down in here, hopefully you can see this, and you see the yellow wire? I've got the black covering off of it so you can see it. The yellow wire that goes down into the starter, I measured with 12 volts. I just put my meter lead on the negative here, and I put my positive down inside where you see the clip is, and I got my wife to turn the key. When she turned the key, there was no power there, so that meant, no power to the starter. So that tells me, gosh, it's not a starter issue, so I'm not going to waste money on a starter either. And then started to try and figure out what it was. Fortunately, there was a guy in Sackville. I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada, by the way. Not in Sackville, that had an idea of what it was. He said, I knew there wasn't power coming from the ignition, and he said there's an issue with these where the ignition column, and I'll show you what happens, down in the ignition column, you don't get the power coming out of the ignition in order to feed the starter relay or anything. So what I did first was I put this push button in, and I just tried to jump it right to the starter. So I actually had this long wire, which is just a piece of wire off of a trailer hitch assembly, and I wired it directly to 12 volts, and I ran the other wire right down to the starter, and I plugged it in. Actually, what I did was I pulled out this horn relay, and I put 12 volts on I put the one side on the 12 volt power on the horn relay, and I ran the other side right down to the yellow wire down there, and I said, look, I'm going to be able to get power right to my starter that way. Well, it got power to my starter, and the thing would roll over forever, but it never would start. So that told me that that little wire coming off the ignition powered something else. I still don't know what it is. I got to find a schematic to tell me. But it powers something else that doesn't allow the vehicle to start unless the power is coming from here and goes into the relays first. So this is the start of it. I have to take this little clip off. What we did was found out that, because what my biggest issue was, is figuring out which wire is the one that I needed. I bought a Haynes manual. That didn't help me. The wire colors are too generic from 97, the current, and I think it told me it had to be a yellow wire or a brown wire. I can't remember now, but there weren't any here. They're mostly pink and hots. So then got my brother to see if he knew anything about the wiring and seeing if I was on the right track. Couldn't understand why the vehicle would bumper start, so you could roll it down the driveway and it would start. But yet when I hot wired it, it wouldn't start. Didn't make sense to us because it said that it had all the power, but obviously it didn't. So my little nephew hauled up Google Images. I'm not that good on internet, so he brought it up for me, and he said, we took a look at the drawing, and it was this pink and orange cable or wire in there. That's the one that actually fires up the starter coil and starter relay and everything. So we needed to find out, and you'll see in subsequent videos what we've done to try and wire into that.